What Hunter's team has done here is created such large gross revenue coming in that we're used to, that the net revenue has now allowed us to scale further on other channels.
If we didn't meet, what do you feel like would have happened in your Amazon funnel?
We would have been moving around to different Amazon companies every year and a half and having the same results. We got to a point where we didn't think growth was possible on Amazon, top of the funnel. No one proved it out.
Everyone, I got Chris here. I met Chris via email. I sent him an email maybe 7 months ago. Told me to kick rocks. Said, hey, Chris, come on, give me a shot. And I said I'd give him a $100 gift card if he would jump on the call with me. And Chris said, get the money ready.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
I believe that's the words you use. You better get the gift card ready. For the record, I've never had to send that gift card because we provided immense value. Sure enough, we got the ball moving. We started at 72K earlier this year. Now we're around 160 on Amazon. I know that y'all been scaling on Meta and TikTok too. So it's been really beautiful to see y'all's growth. So Chris, I'll let you kind of do a quick intro. I know you're the PetSy guy, but you want to kind of give a high level of kind of your background, what got you into scaling?
Yeah, sure. It's funny is I forgot about the gift card. I definitely told you to get ready. So next I was going to get a free dinner out of you. I even warned you. I go, hey man, you're going to be wasting your time here, but I'll take that gift card. I do recall saying that now. Yeah, I started PetSy. Been building this brand for, 5 years, going on 6 years now. It's been exciting and fun. We try to avoid Amazon and Chewy the first year just because we were really data collecting. And then around year 2, that's when we did the dive, wanted to get our product on Amazon out of necessity. We did as much research and referrals as we can, and we came across a lot of companies, and they do the same thing. They go and set up your ads, your keywords, do all this front end work, so it looks like they're really crushing it. And then about 4 or 5 months in, you start to hear from them less and less. And then finally you get to a point where you're not growing, and a year later you have another company comes along. It's just a numbers game. They throw someone who's inexperienced or has experience in Amazon, communicate with the customer, but over time they start giving their attention to the next new customer they brought on. So since we've been, took on Amazon at year 2, you were now going on year 3 or 4, I would say we're on our 4th or 5th Amazon team. Everyone since then has been the same spiel. Like I said, we'll come and do a lot better of a job. We'll be proactive. And I guess those are the 2 key words that I've noticed with my last company is they're reactive. Hunter's team's proactive. And that's what I was always looking for when hiring my next Amazon company. And that's what made it difficult for Hunter when he reached out to us via email. Is this was the 4th or 5th company that I was expecting the same, they're going to talk a big game. And in my emails, I basically called Hunter a liar, as you recall. I think more politely than just a plain liar, but I might have gone to liar. That's how we started.
It's the same thing. Like if you want to get married or, you want to build these good relationships, just because you get burned once or twice in the past doesn't mean that you have to let that prevent you from scaling. And it really does only take one strong partner. For us, for instance, right, we started back in January or February. I know that you grew a little bit before us, then you fell back down. Do you want to kind of walk through your revenue, where you were at?
Yeah. So, the first 3 years we were just growing significantly, building up data, and, had the mentality of, we hope this pans out. And then about year 3, we got smarter, and we basically tore everything down and decided we have to build a great foundation, because that's where it all starts. So around year 3, we scaled back everything, marketing, you name it, because we just wanted to tighten up our products, our procedures, everything that goes along with it, and then really hit it hard. You guys came in at the time where we were just ready to start picking it up. So our Amazon went down probably 80%. Our revenue went down because it was just all subscription rebills coming in at that point. I'm happy to say, since then, we're doing much more revenue than we've ever done, even when we were spending 3 times the amount on social media. So our revenue has grown, let me think about the percentages here, 250%. And granted, we've had some meta spin, but we've also have some calculations here to see where our growth in Amazon's coming from it. And it's definitely not all coming from spillover from Facebook. What Hunter's team has done here is created such large gross revenue coming in that we're used to, that the net revenue has now allowed us to scale further on other channels. Honestly, we couldn't be having this success right now if we were using other Amazon teams, because Hunter's team has just crushed it out of the park for us. And let me say real quick, I'm doing this interview, and like sometimes like Hunter will ask me to speak to clients. Goodness out of my heart. And let's be real here, more because he's crushed it for us. And I'm a big believer that if you have someone who's doing such a good job for you, I'm absolutely going to do favors for him and jump on this call or speak to other people because he's done so much for us. And honestly, if they can't make it work, it's not them, it's your business sucks.
As you deal with different brands, there's different levels of distribution percentages they try to keep Amazon at. Sometimes brands are cool being 90, 100% Amazon. Like for instance, one of my best friends, he does 100 million a year and he's 99% Amazon.
Our goal is to keep it around 30%, but the reality is you guys have done such a great job without changing the marketing budget that it's now 60-40. And it's funny is our CFO tells us to, we want to keep that 30%, but also the reality is we're not going to tell you guys to stop growing when you're just making more money. For a healthy exit, we believe we want to keep it, under 30%, but sometimes you can't control that because just where the money's going and how you guys are growing it.
You really want to understand what your customer acquisition cost is. Inside of Amazon, you have customer acquisition costs for your subscribe and save. You have it for just all people in general. And those are really important to understand. The really important thing is understanding your CLTV, which is your cumulative lifetime value, because that's where you really match things up. So if you have a acquisition cost of $55 and you have a lifetime value on that of 220 over 6 months, that means that you're getting almost a 4x ROAS on these acquisitions. So if you have the capital, you should be going so much harder. Obviously, these metrics get affected somewhat by external spends if they're at exuberant. But even on your funnel, the thing that we're conscious of when we work together is what is your contribution? How much are you spending on Meta? What are you spending on TikTok? Because we do want to understand what your overall flow is from internet traffic, because that's going to play a part in how we do Amazon. And based on all those metrics, you still have really good acquisitions into subscribe and save, and we could probably double your spend.
Oh yeah, well this ties into what I said earlier.
Double and a half.
We're doing a cash flow strategy right now where, because obviously as we turn up the dial, it's going to be less net profits that come in. And the reason we're just doing that right now, this business is all data. And, bringing on some new products, we just want to collect a healthy amount of data. And that's what I mentioned earlier. We are 100% going to be basing all of our, our spend and traffic and strategy based off the data you're showing us here, because we're willing to lose money. And anyone who doesn't base Amazon off LTV is just, they're in the past. I mean, you're not going to make a positive ROI most of the time on day one unless you just have a unicorn product. And that kind of, just a side note, that's a big challenge right now with TikTok. Amazon is still the leader. All your focus should still be growing this along with your website and then playing around with those other platforms.
Well, look forward to the future. If anyone, if you could tell anything to anyone watching right now that was kind of on the fence of either moving forward with a growth partner, us, someone else, versus moving solo, do you have any free flowing advice for what you would say?
A lot of you guys are probably where I've been, where you've spoken to these Amazon teams and have the same pain points. They say the same stuff. They have a guy who's an insider on Amazon. They charge you X amount of dollars and a percentage. The person you're speaking to is a sales rep who's never owned a business. At the end of the day, they have no skin in the game. I have skin in the game. I talk to these same companies, and yeah, I admit I pushed back on Hunter quite a bit. Finally, I believed what he was saying and I gave him a try, and you're leaving money on the table. I would give him a shot, and if he can't prove himself within 6 months, you got nothing to lose. Go move on. There's plenty of other Amazon companies, but you're doing yourself an disservice with your business if you don't give him a shot, because we're a smaller company on the spectrum of all his businesses, and they treat us like one of the biggest companies with communications and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about your size.
That's what she said.
They've done what the 4 or 5 other previous companies couldn't do. They've launched our keywords that were sitting around rank 26, 25 into the top page. They're actively working on our other products. And then finally, they've done a great job, on data. Not all of our products are going to hit, but they have clearly showed us what products are winners, what products are not, and what products have potential. And so anyway, you got nothing to lose, man. You have this fear of the grass is not greener. Get out of that. It's very much greener if your Amazon team's not delivering how you think they should.
A team like me, I have 7 developers. All I do is Amazon. I have from a root patterns that we analyze all the way down from SEO creative, PPC, catalog management, structuring, how we're doing all these different points. We see 50 different niches and categories, and we can figure out what works and apply it to other niches that haven't even been exposed to that type of thing yet. And I think what's going to happen in the future is, it's really going to be like what it is, like a growth partnership, but there's going to be a tech element to it where you need a tech partner. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to shift from agencies to literally just technology partners. And it's going to be a lot of artificial intelligence, algorithmic modeling, a lot of patterns, data hoarding, and figuring out how to apply all this data in a way that's going to really scale the brand. So I've been super stoked. I'm super confident that we can do another video in a year from now. It's going to be fucking killer too.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. And, you know, one thing I'll point out that I never mentioned to you is, you know, having conversations with you is what I've picked up on those conversations, and it's important to me is kind of what you just spoke about is AI, you know, is going to change the game for a lot of businesses. And either you're going to be on that ride and your business is set up, or you're not, and you're going to fall behind. The conversations we have, and I know your background with AI and what you're setting up, just gives us a competitive advantage against other customers and brands. I mean, we're taking on manufacturers' products that they sell for a lot less on Amazon, but they suck at marketing, or they don't have an effective Amazon team, where we're confidently going to take their great product and, you know, copy it. And our product's probably going to cost 40% more on Amazon than theirs. And we know we're going to crush them and become the leader in that niche in that product because of what you guys are doing with AI and what you've shown us. So you're going to get left behind if you're not with a partner that's very tech savvy, and you guys are definitely that.
I appreciate that. It reminds me of like one of my ads where it's like, we don't just, you know, scale brands, and it's like, bah, 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 bah. We take the damn market.
Yeah.
Yeah, excited to keep scaling with you, brother. I appreciate you having you on. Appreciate your time. Appreciate being able to scale with you.